Hello, the student of class 12. Now, today we will read from the book of Flamingo, lesson number 3, Deep Water. Deep Water lesson is written by William Douglas, who was feared from the water when he was near about 3 or 4 years. His father takes to him on a beach and the waves drowned him and swept him. The childhood years always remains as it does not go so easily. Same as for William Douglas, the childhood years from the water remained till he was near about as adults. Now open your book and read the lesson. It had happened when I was 10 or 11 years old. I had decided to learn to swim. There was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima that offered exactly the opportunity. The Yakima River was treacherous. Mother continuously warned against it and kept fresh in my mind the details of each drowning in the river, but the YMC pool was safe. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end, and while it was 9 feet deep at the other, the drop was gradual. I get a pair of water wings and went to the pool. I hated to walk. I hated to naked into it and so my skinny legs, but I subdued my pride and did it. When the writer was 10 or 11 years, he decided to learn swimming. There was a swimming pool YMCA in Yakima, but the river Yakima was so dangerous and treacherous that the narrator's mother always warned him and pressed his mind drowning, telling him a drowning person. From the beginning, however, I had an aversion to the water when I was in it. This started when I was 3 or 4 years old and father took me to the beach in California. He and I stood together in the surf. I hung on to him, yet the waves knocked me down and swept over me. I was buried in water. My breath was gone. I was frightened. Father laughed, but there was terror in my heart at the overpowering force of the waves. When the writer was 3 or 4 years, the father took him to the beach of California. The waves buried the boy, and the terror, the, the terror from the water was so terrified in his heart and an overpowering force of the waves so terrified that he never can courage to go in swimming or near the water. My introduction to the YMCA swimming pool revived unpleasant memories and stirred childish fear, but in a little while I gathered confidence. I paddled with my new water wings, watching the other boys and trying to learn by aping them. I did this 2 or 3 times on different days and was just beginning to feel at ease in the water when the misadventure happened. The writer began to learn with the help of water wings the swimming, but 2 or 3 days later, a misadventure happened with him. I went to the pool when no one else was there. The place was quiet, the water was still, and the tiled bottom was as white and clean as a bathtub. I was timid about going to alone, so I sat on the side of the pool to wait the others. I had not been there long when in came a big brochure of a boy, probably 18 years old. He had he had thick hair on his chest. He was a beautiful physical specimen with legs and arms that showed rippling muscles. He yelled, "Hey, skinny, how would you like to be ducked?" With that, he picked me up and tossed me into the deep end. I landed to the sitting position, swallowed water, and went at once to the bottom. I was frightened, but not yet frightened out of my wits. On the way down, I planned when my feet hit the bottom, I would make a big jump, came to the surface, lie flat on it, and paddle to the edge of the pool. The boy took the writer and threw him into the deep water side of the swimming pool. It seemed a long way down. Their 9 feet were more like 90, and before I touched the bottom, my lungs were ready to burst. But when my feet hit bottom, I summoned all my strength and made what I thought was a great spring upward. I imagined I would bob in the surface like a cork. Instead, I came up slowly. I opened my eyes and saw nothing around, nothing but water that had a dirty yellow tinge to it. I grew panicky. I reached up as if no grabbed a rope, and my hands tugged only at water. I was suffocating. I tried to yell, but no sound came out. Then my eyes and nose came out of the water, but not my mouth. I fell flat at the surface of the water, swallowed and choked. I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead bats, paralyzed and rigid. A great force was pulling me under. I screamed, but only the water heard me. I had started on the long journey back to the bottom of the pool, and the second time when the writer tried, but he was unsucceeded. So he started a long journey to the bottom of the pool. I struck at the water as I went down, expending my strength as one in a nightmare fight or impossible force. I had lost all my breath, my lungs ached, my head throbbed, I was getting dizzy, but I remembered the strategy. I would spring from the bottom of the pool and come like a cork to the surface. I would lie flat on the water, strike out with my arms and press with my legs. Then I would get to the edge of the pool and be safe. I went down, and deliciously I opened my eyes. Nothing but water with yellow glow, dark water that one could not see enough, and then sheer stark terror seized me. Terror that knows no understanding, terror that knows no control, terror that no one can understand. Who has not experienced it? I was shrieking underwater. I was paralyzed underwater, stiff, rigid, and fear. Even the screams in my throat were frozen. Only my heart and heart the pound in my head said that I was still alive. The terror that know nothing about one who has not experienced it, they cannot know about the terror. And then in the midst of the terror came a touch of reason. I must remember to jump when I hit the bottom. At last I felt the tiles under me. My toes reached out of as if to grab. Then I jumped with everything I had, but the jump made no difference. The water was still around me. I looked for rope, ladders, water wings, nothing but water. A mass of yellow water held me. Stark terror took an even deeper hold to me like a great charge of electricity. I shook and trembled with fright. My arms wouldn't move. My legs wouldn't move. I tried to call for help, to call for murder. Nothing happened. And then, strangely, there was light. I was coming out of the awful yellow water. At least my eyes were, my nose was almost out too. Then I started down a third time. I sucked for air and got water. The yellowish light was going out. Then all efforts ceased. I relaxed. Even my legs felt limp, and a blackness swept over my brain. It wiped out fear. It wiped out terror. There was no more panic. It was quiet and peaceful. Nothing to be afraid of. There is nice. This is nice to be drowsy, to go to sleep. No need to jump. Too tired. Too tired to jump. It's nice. It's nice to be carried gently, to to float, lying in space, tender arms around me, tender arms like mothers. Now I must go to sleep. I crossed to I crossed to oblivion, and the curtains of the curtain of life fell. The next I remember I was lying on my stomach beside the pool, vomiting. The, the chap that threw me in was saying, but I was only fooling. I was only fooling. Someone said, the kid nearly died. Be all right now. All right now. Let's carry him to to the locker room. Several hours later, I walked home. I was weak and trembling. I shook and cried when lay on my bed. I can't eat that night. For days, a haunting fear was in my heart. The slightest slightest inser- slightest insertion upset me, making me wobbly in the knees and sick in my stomach. I never went back to the pool. I feared water. I avoided it whenever whenever I could. A few years later, when I came to know the waters of the cascades, I wanted to get into them, and whatever I did, whether I was wading the the titan and or bumping rover or watching in warm lake of the coat rocks, the terror that had seized me in the pool would come back. It would take possession of me completely. My legs would become paralyzed. I see terror would grab my heart. The handicapped stayed with me as the years rolled by. In canoes, no man lakes, placing our landlocked salmon Mrs. was speaking of the New Hampshire about fishing on the dis, on the disputes of the Metals and Oregon, fishing for salmon on the Columbia in Bumping Lake in the Cascades. Whenever I went, the haunting fear of the water followed me. It, it, it ruined my fishing trips, deprived me of the joy of the canoeing, boating, and swimming. I used every way I knew to overcome this fear, but it held me firmly to its grave. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and learn to swim. I went to a pool and practiced 5 days in a week, an hour each day. Each day, the instructor put a belt around me, a rope attached to the belt bent through a pulley that run on an overhead cable. He held an into the end of the rope, and we went back and forth across the pool, hour after hour, day after day, week after week. On each trip across the pool, a bit of the panic seized me each time the instructor realized, relaxed his held on the rope, and I went under. Some of the old terror returned and my legs froze. It was 3 months before the tension began to slide. Then he taught me to put my face under water and inhale and exhale, and to raise my nose and inhale. I repeated the exercise hundreds of times, but but by which I said part of the panic and seized me when my head went underwater. Next to held me at the side of the pool and had me kick with my legs. For weeks I did just that. As first my legs refused to work, but they gradually relaxed, and finally I could continue them. Thus, piece by piece, he built a swimmer, and when he had perfected each piece, he put them together into the integrated whole. In April, he said, "Now you can swim, dive up, and swim the length of the pool, crawl, stroke." I did. The instructor was finished, but I was not finished. I still wondered if I would be terror stricken when I was alone in the pool. I tried it. I swam the length up and down. The vestige of the old terror would return, but now I could no frown and say to that terror trying to scare me, "Hey, well, here's to you look," and off I had go for another length of the pool. This thus went on until July, but I was still not satisfied. I was not sure that all the terror had left. So I went to Lake Wentworth and New Hampshire, dived for a kick, dived for off a dock at the Triggs Island, and swam 2 miles across the Lake of Thames. At Island, I swam the crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. Only once did the terror return. Wasn't was in the middle of the lake. I put my face under and saw nothing but bottomless water. The old sensation returned in a minute. In a minute, I laughed and said, "Well, oh, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me?" I failed. I, I fled. It fled, and I swam on. Yes, I had, I had, resi- I have residual doubts. As my first opportunity, I hurried west, went up to the Titan and Comrade Meadows up the high meadows by the side of warm lake. The next morning, I stepped, dived into the lake and swam across to the other shore and back, just as Lou Corpon used to do. I shouted with joy. The Calvard Peak returned to echo. I had conquered my fear of water. The experience had a deep meaning for me, as only those who have known stark terror and conquered it can appreciate it. That here is peace, there is terror only in the fear of the death, as Roosevelt knew when he said, all we had experienced both both the sensation of dying and the terror that fear of it can produce. The will to fight to life somehow grew in intensity. At last, I felt released, free in what and me, and felt the climb of the peak and to bruise inside fear. Now, look at the whiteboard about the lesson. Deep water opens the way for to achieve the impossible. Focusing the target is staying determined and consistent of effort can help to fight the challenges and tough situations of life. Points to remember: feared from water, 3 or 4 years old, went to beach with father, knocked down, swept over by waves, suffocated, frightened. Third one, decided to learn swimming at YMCA pool, Yakima, beginning to feel comfortable. Another incident or misadventure, big boy threw him into deep and frightened lungs ready to burst, decided to hit feet on the bottom and return as the corpse came up slowly, opened eyes, but found water everywhere. Terrified, tried to scream, no sound, legs paralyzed, rigid, went down second time, stopped struggling, found himself lying on his stomach, vomiting, reached home, felt weak, trembled, feared water spoiled holidays, hired swimming instructor, practiced swimming for 5 days in a week, learned to kick with legs, taught for 6 months, made swimmer out of him, no longer feared water. Douglas got confidence. See, on whiteboard, question number 1, how and when did Douglas develop an aversion to water? His aversion to water began when he was 3 or 4 years old. He went his father to a beach where the waves knocked him down and overpowered him. He was buried under the waves. This created the phobia in his mind and left him in a state of fear. Question second, why has the Yakima River been referred to as treacherous? There had been several cases of drowning in the river. It was not considered safe because of its rough water and fast current. Douglas' mother used to remind him the drowning cases. Question 3. In order to escape drowning, What strategy did Douglas adopt while in the deep end of the pool? When Douglas was thrown into the water, he was terribly frightened but still mentally alert. He planned that when his feet hit the bottom of the pool, he would make a big jump, come to the surface, lie flat on it, and paddle to the edge of the pool. Now, understanding the text, question number 1, 2, and 3 are as your homework. Pause the video, write it in your notebook. Your lesson has completed. Thank you.